Hello there. Welcome to the Data Radio Show Holiday Specials. Well, I say specials, they're not really super special. I mean, everything we do is kind of special. You know what? I'm just rambling. Here's what's going on. Over the holiday period, we're going to be releasing content every day that's been created by Notebook LM, which is a tool that Google has that basically takes a whole bunch of information and finds a way to disseminate it in a really simple way for people to understand and then present it as a podcast. So we're giving it a bit of a test based on our Data Pro newsletter, which is completely free to sign up to. You can do that. It's in the description down below if you haven't done so already. So we've taken our newsletters from throughout the year and we've created these podcast episodes using Notebook LM. It's a really fascinating experience to see how they differentiate the information that's in there. So have a listen, see what you think of it, and don't forget to subscribe, share, tell everybody about what's going on, but also make sure that you spend some time to yourself these holidays and enjoy the season. We'll be back soon with some fantastic new episodes, but until then, check out this one.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at how generative AI is changing the game for data modeling.
Sounds pretty complex.
It is, but I think it'll be fun. So we've got this great article from datapro.news called 6 Ways Gen AI is Improving Data Modeling.
6. Okay, we've got our work cut out for us.
Yeah. We also have some insights from a data radio show masterclass with...
Oh yeah, the one with Michael Olshinki and Knowles Everson.
Exactly. We'll get into that a bit later, though. First, let's tackle this article.
All right, sounds good.
So it jumps right into something called automated schema generation. Basically, it sounds like AI building database blueprints for us.
Wow. AI taking over the design process. What do you think about that?
I think it's pretty amazing, actually. What about you?
Well, I mean, it has huge potential, right?
Yeah.
Especially for bridging the gap between, the technical folks and those who may not be as tech savvy.
So you're saying it could make data modeling more accessible?
Exactly. Imagine just describing what you need from your data, like in plain English.
And the AI just takes it from there.
Yeah. It could translate that into a schema recommendation. No more deciphering complex diagrams and potentially fewer errors right from the start.
Less time in the weeds and more time using the data.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so next up, the article talks about optimization suggestions.
So, like AI as a data consultant.
That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah. What do
I
you
mean, think about it. It's like having this AI assistant that's constantly monitoring your database performance.
And just suggesting improvements.
Right, exactly. It might identify indexes that need tweaking or tables that could be restructured for better efficiency.
Things that, might not even be obvious to a human data modeler.
Wow. So the article then mentions something called NLP to ERD translation, which, I'll be honest, sounds like something straight out of Star Trek.
Yeah. NLP to ERD. I mean, can you break that down a bit?
Well, from what I understand, NLP stands for natural language processing, and ERD stands for entity relationship diagram.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does it all work? Well, it basically means we could, describe our data needs in plain English.
Like, just tell the AI what we want.
Pretty much. And then it would translate that into that visual representation, how all the data is connected.
Ah, okay. So the AI understands what we're saying and turns it into a blueprint for the database.
Yeah.
Are there, actual tools that can do this already?
There are. It's still early days, but tools like flow.by are starting to emerge.
That's impressive. So that's building and optimizing the models.
Right. Now let's move on to enhanced data augmentation for machine learning. Any thoughts on that one?
So this is about creating synthetic data.
To train machine learning models, exactly. What do you make of that?
Well, it's a big deal, especially when real-world data is limited, right? Like for sensitive or uncommon scenarios.
Exactly. So AI steps in and creates synthetic data that mimics the patterns of real data, right?
Yeah, it helps to train the models effectively and just makes AI applications more reliable.
It's like AI filling in the gaps for us. Okay, let's talk predictive data distribution and scaling. AI predicting how our data needs will change.
Makes sense to me. I mean, it's all about using AI to plan, right? Okay. No more scrambling for server upgrades at the last minute because the AI would give you a heads up.
Now, that's what I call being proactive. All right, last but not least, natural language interface for data exploration. What do you think? Is this the future of data accessibility?
I think it could be, definitely. I mean, imagine anyone, even if they're not a tech expert, being able to ask questions of their data using just normal language.
No complex queries, just plain English.
And the AI delivers the insights. It's like having a personal data analyst on call, 24/7. Pretty mind-blowing, right?
It really is. Sounds like we're on the verge of a huge shift in how we interact with data.
And generative AI is right at the heart of it all.
Exactly. But now let's switch gears a bit. You mentioned that data radio show Masterclass.
Oh, yeah, with Michael Olshimk and Noel Eberson. Right. Yeah, the one about GDPR compliance.
That's the one. They really dig into some crucial aspects of data modeling in the context of GDPR. Like, they start by talking about something called enhanced data integrity practices.
Which is a mouthful, for sure. Why is that so important for data modeling, especially when we're adding AI into the mix?
Well, because if the data going into the model is flawed,
Well,
right?
then the outputs are going to be flawed, too. Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. They emphasized how important it is to manage relationships within the data carefully. You need to make sure that, like, as data relationships change, the overall integrity of the data stays intact.
So it's all about making sure the data is reliable and accurate, even as it evolves over time.
Right. And they talked about tools like effectivity satellites. Ever heard of those?
I can't say I have.
They're basically a way of tracking how data relationships evolve over time. Kind of like
A time lapse.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. And this helps make sure the data model stays accurate. And importantly, it helps with compliance with regulations like GDPR, which is the next big focus of the masterclass.
Okay, so let's get into those advanced GDPR compliance techniques. What were some of the key takeaways?
Well, one of the biggest challenges they talked about was handling GDPR data deletion requests.
Oh, yeah, that can get pretty complicated.
Imagine a database with millions of records and someone requests to have their data removed. That's a lot to untangle.
Yeah, it sounds like a data engineer's worst nightmare. How do they suggest we tackle that?
Well, they highlighted separating personal and non-personal data right from the get-go. And then they talked about using something called retention classes, which basically define how long different types of data should be kept.
So it's about having a clear plan for managing the data from day one, right?
Exactly. Proactive planning is key for GDPR compliance. What else did they cover?
Well, they talked about how optimizing real-time data analytics ties back to data modeling.
Okay, how so?
Well, they mentioned techniques like using pivot and bridge tables. Those can really speed up data processing, which is like super important for real-time insights.
So it's not just about storing the data correctly, but also about making sure you can access and analyze it efficiently, right?
Right. And they talked about the importance of flexible data architectures like Data Vault and Lakehouse.
Those names ring a bell. What are they all about?
Well, they're designed to adapt to, changing business needs and evolving compliance requirements.
So it's about building data environments that can scale and evolve?
Exactly. Without requiring like major overhauls every time something changes. Flexibility is key in today's world, right?
Absolutely. Especially with AI constantly advancing. Did they talk about how to actually implement these techniques?
They did. They highlighted the potential of automation, especially for streamlining GDPR compliance processes.
Like automating data deletion or retention?
Yeah, things like that. It would free up data engineers to focus on more, strategic work.
That would be a huge time saver, for sure. So this masterclass really provided some practical advice for navigating data modeling and GDPR compliance.
It did. And they emphasized that it's not just a technical challenge, there are legal and ethical considerations too.
Especially with AI becoming more prevalent.
Exactly.
Right.
You need to be able to show that you're handling personal data responsibly and in line with the law.
Okay, so we've talked about how generative AI is changing data modeling and all the things we need to consider for GDPR compliance. It seems like we're really on the cusp of a major shift in how we interact with data. What are some of the most exciting things you see on the horizon?
Well, one area I'm really excited about is intelligent data modeling assistance.
AI that can actually help us design better data models.
More than that, imagine AI that not only automates tasks, but also suggests, new data models and insights.
It's like AI is our data partner, always one step ahead.
Exactly. And what about natural language interfaces? We talked about them earlier, but where do you think they're headed?
I think they're going to become even easier to use. Imagine a world where anyone can just talk to their data and get answers, no matter their technical skills.
It would truly democratize data access, wouldn't it?
It would. Everyone in an organization could make better decisions.
I think we'll also see more specialized interfaces, tailored to specific industries or domains.
Oh, that's interesting. Like an AI assistant for healthcare professionals or financial analysts.
Exactly. It's not just about making data accessible, it's about making it relevant and actionable.
That personalization is key. We've talked about all these amazing possibilities, but what about the potential downsides? Are there any risks we should be thinking about as AI gets more advanced?
Well, One risk is becoming overly reliant on AI. It's easy to think that if something is powered by AI, it must be perfect.
Right, but AI is just a tool. And like any tool, it can be used in the wrong way.
Exactly. We need to remember that.
Right.
And we need to watch out for potential biases, errors, unintended consequences.
So we can't just blindly trust the output of AI system.
Nope. We need to use our judgment and make sure the results make sense.
It's about finding the right balance, right? Between embracing the power of AI and maintaining human control.
Absolutely. AI can help us, but ultimately we need to be the ones making the decisions.
What else should we be mindful of as AI becomes more integrated into our lives?
I think it's crucial to stay informed, engage in discussions about AI ethics, advocate for responsible development. The future of data is in our hands, and we have the power to shape it.
Well said. It's been a really interesting conversation so far. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with me today.
You too. It's always great to explore these topics.
And to our listener, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into generative AI and data modeling. Now, before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with a bit of a thought-provoking question. So we've been talking about AI building these models, but what if AI could build AI?
Whoa, slow down there. You're getting a little ahead of yourself.
Okay. But seriously, could generative AI actually design like even more sophisticated AI tools for data analysis?
Well, it's a pretty mind-boggling concept. I
Oh.
mean, it's definitely possible, right? Generative AI could totally speed up the development of new tools in tons of fields, data analysis included.
So we could have AI systems that like design experiments or generate hypotheses, maybe even find insights that humans might miss completely.
Yeah. I mean, AI could be the key to even faster advancements in AI. That's both super exciting and, a little bit scary.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a lot to wrap your head around. But we need to be cautious, right? We can't let these advancements get away from us.
Exactly. It's like anything else.
Yeah.
We need to be aware of the risks and make sure we're developing these technologies responsibly. We have to be in control.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today, from like the basics of how generative AI is changing data modeling to all the ethical stuff, which is super important. Any final thoughts?
I think the big takeaway here is that we're at a really important point in the evolution of data and AI. This stuff has the potential to change everything, but we have to make sure it's for the better.
We have to be the ones steering the ship, not the passengers.
Exactly. We need to be informed, we need to be engaged, and we need to be proactive in shaping this future. It's on us.
That's a powerful message. It's been a really fascinating deep dive. I've learned a ton today. Thanks for being here.
Of course. It's always fun to chat about this stuff. It really gets you thinking.
And to our listener, thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of generative AI and data modeling. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions. Until next time, happy diving. So we've been talking about AI building these models, but what if AI could build AI?
Ooh, slow down there. You're getting a little ahead of yourself.
Okay. But seriously, could generative AI actually design like even more sophisticated AI tools for data analysis?
Well, it is a pretty mind-boggling concept. I mean, it's definitely possible, right?
Duh.
Generative AI could totally speed up the development of new tools in tons of fields, data analysis included.
So we could have AI systems that like design experiments or generate hypotheses, maybe even find insights that humans might miss completely.
Yeah, I mean, AI could be the key to even faster advancements in AI.
Yeah.
That's both super exciting and, a little bit scary.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a lot to wrap your head around, but we need to be cautious, right? We can't let these advancements get away from us.
Exactly. It's like anything else. We need to be aware of the risks and make sure we're developing these technologies responsibly. We have to be in control.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today, from like the basics of how generative AI is changing data modeling to all the ethical stuff, which is super important. Any final thoughts?
I think the big takeaway here is that we're at a really important point in the evolution of data and AI.
Yeah.
This stuff has the potential to change everything, but we have to make sure it's for the better. You know,
We have to be the ones steering the ship, not the passenger.
exactly. We need to be informed, we need to be engaged, and we need to be proactive in shaping this future. It's on us.
That's a powerful message. It's been a really fascinating deep dive. I've learned a ton today. Thanks for being here.
Oh, of course. It's always fun to chat about this stuff. It really gets you thinking.
And to our listener, thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of generative AI and data modeling. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions. Until next time, happy diving